What is going on here now? Here is the situation I'd like to ask you about. I haven't cut my hair or shaven in 5 years. Before I was clean, cut, and was able to work and had fun doing activities like traveling and entertainment. When marijuana became legal in Canada, I did it and then had a profound experience. Everything was new. Sights, sounds, thoughts. Ever since then, I believe I've become more and more conscious about life, especially because I research a lot of spiritual things which I was never into before. Anyways, the reason I haven't cut or shaven my hair has been because I don't know what character I want to be. For example, if I wanted to be a lawyer, I'd try to look like that. But for years now, nothing has appealed to me. My friend, I don't know your name. I know your name, Peter. Peter Batman. Thank you. Thank you for sharing and thank you for seeking my advice, as you said. Not because it's mine, the advice, because it's important to get some perspective. I don't know if you still smoke ganja. Seems like you still do. And seems like you're totally fine with it. And seems like you really choose the experience over the sobriety. For that, I must say it's absolutely fair. It's absolutely fair when you introduce certain substances to your experience of reality, the way that your body experiences it, regardless of what this substance is. It could be like the food we eat every day. Somehow it's something that we introduce to the body to be able to use that particular substance and make something out of it. In this case, the substance is ganja, marijuana, cannabis, Santa Maria, plenty of other names, perhaps weed. This substance in particular is one that shows you the truth, but it does not spoil it for you. Therefore, you see glimpses of truth without fully immerse into it. Simply, it creates certain messages that your brain already creates and sends it to your nervous system. Ganja has been around as a weed globally, everywhere on this planet, and somehow created this connection to human beings to be able to intercept their possibility of sending messages. For example, your brain wants to send a message to your body to perhaps feel hungry. Cannabis imitates that. It learned so much about human beings that it imitates all the messages that somehow make life a little bit sillier, make life a little bit more in tune with the reality of things. These messages that you perhaps enjoy sending to your body, it increases the chances of you feeling the reality much more than when you are perhaps a lawyer. As you said, whatever you want to make out of yourself in this world, you have to somehow create some persona. But ganja simply tells you there is no persona. This connection with nature is somehow deeper than what you think. Because as soon as you think, your brain sends stupid messages to your nervous system. As soon as you think, you become stressed. As soon as you think, you become anxious. As soon as you think, you become lawyer. Then you have to perhaps shave your beard, then perhaps you have to shave your head or trim your hair. But in fact, the hair grows on its own, you know. It's like the natural state of hair is to grow. But somehow we live in a world that my hair or my look looks strange, because who leave the hair grows like that, you know? Like where is the civil appearance, you know? Where is that civilized world in it? Therefore, the more you smoke this ganja, the more you receive messages from this nature, things become a little bit more, in a way, spiritual. Simply you create a certain connection with this nature. And when I say messages, I'm not saying metaphorically. This is literally how your brain works when you smoke ganja. THC, they are like message snatchers, you know. They steal the messages on the way, they replace them with different messages. For example, your brain tells you you gotta be stressed and be sad right now. And when you smoke ganja, this message that is going on the way, THC, replace it with another message. Says, well, you're not sad at all. You gotta have fun. You gotta laugh, because that's how it works. I want to give you this message to laugh. You gotta act silly. You gotta move silly. You gotta do certain things that is not really so thoughtful anymore. Now you're dealing with this dilemma of what to do. Here I have to ask more questions from you. May I ask how old you are? 39. What's the problem with this spiritual world? Why can't it stay spiritual? Why you have to shave your, why you have to create this personality? Did you mention? I don't think so. I'm on a leave from work right now because I burnt out. I have to decide soon on whether to go back or what. I know you're typing. I get it. Whether I just don't, and like my mother says, become homeless. I don't understand why become homeless. Why not find some other job? You're on a sick leave and you can just end this one. Perhaps it made you burned out. Why not another job? Why not find something to do? Why homeless? I don't understand. Mm-mm. Let me see if you said that you smoked for the first time. I haven't got my hair shaven in 5 years. Before I was clean, cut and was able to work. When my mom became legal in Canada, I did. And okay, so you only did cannabis when you were like 5 years ago. Okay. What others are saying here. I do value smoking weed for the spiritual reasoning, but I used to do it all the time and I stopped and noticed what a drastic difference my motivation has taken. Open YouTube channels and became gurus preaching at detachment. Ah, Patrice said something before. Practice detachment. Some go back to the grind and get used to it despite it lost all its meaning for you. This seems to be the most reasonable option. Meanwhile, I will say something. Maybe you're typing. The thing is, you need to use these substances only if they enhance the quality of your life. For example, you take it once, twice a year, or 2, 3 years. This enhances the quality of your life, perhaps. But there will be a point that it's not enhancing the quality of your life anymore. This is a very important factor when it comes to using any kind of substances. If it doesn't increase the quality of your life, it doesn't enhance, it's time to drop it. Then maybe you come back to it and enhance the quality of your life again. And we'll see. But who knows, at the end of the day, all meaning is arbitrary. Tons of Zulus just end up begging for pennies to survive on the side of the road. There is no perfect options in this imperfect world. Very true. And we're always looking for purpose in our jobs. It can become draining. So detachment is a good practice, a good way to not let work affect you and still make a living. I think he gave up. He's like, this is too much work. I can't type all this much. I needed a short advice. Now it's becoming too long. Okay, he's back. Peter is back. Yeah. Too much work. Work just seems so unbearable. I don't see getting another job as an option because it just seems pointless. Like I give my life up in order to continue living, to continue giving it up. Peter, my friend, I don't know your habits of smoking cannabis, but let me assume something and continue talking because if I wait for you to say something, we gotta be sitting here for a long time. I assume you've been smoking cannabis for the past 5 years, and perhaps you've been smoking it every day because your feelings are very strong to me, you know. And I feel like you have also built up so much tolerance to it that you got into perhaps really because you said it's also legalized, right? When it becomes legalized, I would only assume you have access to all types of products, right? It's not like I always bought it illegally. So I always had access to one type of product, right? I always had to buy that perhaps one good weed or the shittiest weed depending on the dealer, right? But you have perhaps access to all types of products and all types of way to ingest the strongest dabbing or something like that. Therefore, you can go on create this tolerance, but still there is enough product to flip you off your seats. And this is the problem. You don't want to smoke, you don't want to stop smoking cannabis. You want to smoke it wisely. You want to smoke it not by building tolerance, but also, I told you, enhancing the quality of your life. If you build up tolerance, those message receptors that I was talking about, they kind of, in a way, become rare. They don't exist anymore. So all this THC needs to find, needs to be more to be able to find these message carriers. Therefore, perhaps you smoke something that gives you a strong hit. That's not gonna work, my friend. Because I promise you, the way you look at jobs, the way you look at earning money to live, is kinda in a way influenced by the use of cannabis. Otherwise, what's wrong with working some job and finding a way out? What's wrong by doing things slowly, gradually increasing your awareness, perhaps seeing a vision in the future that it's an absolute free life. For example, I can dab all day. I have no problem and I don't become homeless. I never really dabbed before, so perhaps that's too strong for me. But the thing is, you can create that life, regardless of how stupid the idea of working is, regardless of how pathetic everything is. You gotta increase the quality of your life. It's like you gotta do that. Otherwise, no one else will do it for you. Otherwise, even if there is no point, absolutely no point, even if you go beyond cannabis and take DMT and see something that you somehow you're like, okay, what's the point of all of these things we do? Because absolutely there is no point. There is totally a different realm exists, and we are just sitting here fucking around. Even then, you can make a good life. It's like, well, why not a good life? Why not go for that life? If cannabis is stopping you from working your ass off, perhaps earning a living, you're living in Canada. It's just how hard is it to make money in Canada? I think it should be pretty easy, no? It's like has a good economy, perhaps it pays well for the hour you work. And if you somehow fine with being homeless, then why not live a very, very cheap, comfortable life? What's the problem with that? Why is it you gotta earn something for the sake of keeping on living to earn something, keeping on living? No, that's not the case. This is all in your head. This is all lack of motivation. This is all depression. You have this cannabis depression. Everyone gets there. Everyone. At first, everything feels so awesome, very good. Then slowly you get into this depression because nothing works. You gotta always hit the hardest, right? Always, because your tolerance is so high that you continuously gotta smoke weed. Otherwise, the difference in the first time that you took perhaps is much more than now, right? The first time you perhaps smoked one joint and you were fine with the whole day. You were just really having so much fun. But now, perhaps you don't even smoke a joint, right? You take perhaps edibles. Then you're constantly in the state of edibles because it perhaps takes longer times to digest. So you have to take a stronger, perhaps you gotta take a few. Maybe the problem is the substance, not the way you look at things, because man, if I want to look at the way you look at things, I would have, I should have just hanged myself here. It's like, but that's not gonna help anything. You gotta make a good life for yourself. Homeless. Why homeless? Where is the comfort in being homeless? I've been homeless. There is no comfort in it, and I didn't choose it. So if it's by choice, don't do it, my friend. Just because for the sake of taking cannabis and seeing there is no point in anything. Yeah, there is absolutely no point, but you still got this life, and I promise you, the spirituality that you see in cannabis is not comparable to what you could have in this spiritual world without cannabis. However, don't get me wrong, cannabis is awesome, but you gotta quit and come back to it. That's the case, you know. Let me see what's up. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Life after awakening is life after realizing there is no point to it, which is ultimate freedom, but soul crushing on the ego. Yeah, awakening is a tough bastard, indeed, but it just keeps coming at you, you know, doesn't end. So Peter gotta drop and go for the next awakening. Enough with the ganja awakening, enough with the cannabis awakening. Maybe try CBD. That will help you to get a job. 10. We got 10 people here. 0 likes. That's awesome. Not that I want you to like because I know that you're so nice that you will like some of you, right? But it was funny. Yeah, we got the first like. Who's out there? Who's watching and not talking? I'll try sitting there with no phone, no distraction, and face the pain that comes. The pain of a smoking, pain of smoking. The fears of working or not working, meet them, see them, leave them alone. Never tried CBD, only THC. Smoking 16 years. Hey, pusher. Never tried CBD. CBD is great. You know, the difference is you smoke THC, you know, the regular cannabis, right? You smoke weed and you sit on a couch, you look at this guitar on the wall, and you think to yourself, the song, the best song, wow, I can play this guitar. Now just take on the stage and take on the world with this guitar. But you just keep on dreaming, keep on this couch thinking about the song. Oh, yeah, man. I could be reefing right now, huh? Until it wears off, the high wears off. You just keep on dreaming. But CBD is actually, you don't dream, you just like a stand up, you go pick up the guitar and you make the best song out of it. You really play. That's the difference. THC is a little bit cunning. THC is like, sit here, I give you all the good times. Don't do anything, think about it. Yeah, dream. I give you all these beautiful thoughts and dreams. Look at that. We can even go deeper in things and observe and even peel the onion. And everything feels much better, right? But CBD is not like that. CBD doesn't intercept the message receptors. CBD is like kind. CBD is like, yo, I take this extra stress and anxiety that you gathered in your life based on your work, your job, whatever you do, and I give you back to you. You go on, do your life a little bit more motivated. That's why CBD is very important generally for everyone. CBD drops, I recommend whoever wants to benefit from the magic of cannabis. Yeah, yeah. 6 likes. Damn, I had to open my mouth. Peter is gone, shaving his beard right now, applying for jobs, cutting his hair. Soon we will see Peter Batman, President of Canada. There he is. I had to get this LOL from the fellow 39-year-old there. I think only this generation is still lol. Okay, I think I will let you go. How about that? This was a good session. 1 hour of good time. Maybe I publish this as a video, hmm? Because I think the topic was kind of good in a way. We'll see how we do with this video. Yeah, I'm afraid I'm gonna feel better on CBD, and I've been smoking the wrong one for so long. No, you haven't been smoking something for 16 years and it is the wrong, one. I'm sure it has been the right one if you did it for 16 years. I'm just sitting here after listening to what you and the other commenters have accurately diagnosed. No, 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 no. Peter, this is not a diagnosis, right? Remember that. This is just a perspective. You have absolutely nothing wrong with you, my friend. You don't need any diagnosis. Hey, Master, I hope I didn't piss you off when I did that thing. Ozil. What did you say, Ozil? Are you messing with me right now? I just want to say thank you to everyone. Yeah, Peter. Thank you. Thank you, Batman. That true helped me a lot. Yeah, I'm glad that this live was helpful. I think so many people would benefit from getting to know cannabis and ganja more. I think everyone on this planet really need to smoke weed. And the reason that people don't is just mostly the alcohol industry for the past 100 years. Because if you smoke weed, you would never want to drink alcohol. And it has always been this clash between these two, and alcohol industry somehow made sure that war on drugs goes full on. But somehow the trick is not get too toleranced up, like don't build up too much tolerance, because it just tends to depression, it tends to ganja depression, cannabis depression, and tends to even sometimes panic attacks, right? That's what happened to me personally when I was younger, and then I had to quit smoking weed for 7 years, and that was basically the gateway to heaven for me. I think cannabis showed me the way, and then after I stopped it, then I could really walk the way myself. So this is very important. And I know so many people are hooked on cannabis, especially the more legalized it becomes. You might think it's better and nicer, but somehow when it industrialized, something is industrialized, there is so many products that will come along that somehow will keep you trapped in the addiction part of it, in the habit part of it, not in the substance. And what we are looking for is the substance itself. It's not in the coping mechanism. It's not the addiction itself. Therefore, you gotta be somehow wise about it, because I know sobriety sucks, really. Sobriety in many ways sucks, and no one really has to be sober. We have to always be in these kind of substances, because there are so many substances in the world that really enhances the quality of our life, from a herbal tea to smoking cannabis, or perhaps even go beyond and take ayahuasca, or perhaps tobacco, coffee, cacao, all of these things. These are all substances, right? And if you use them wisely, it just enhances the quality of your life. But then we tend to turn everything to a coping mechanism, right? Because the world really sucks. It's not the fact that you became a spiritual. You just see the absurdity of the world. Otherwise, you're not a spiritual at all. It's like that's what I'm trying to say. When you quit, then you can become a spiritual, because then you have the chance to walk on the path. But it feels spiritual just because you see the absurdity of the world. You see the absurdity of the reality that the civilized world is living. Then you think it's a spiritual. But it's not really a spiritual. It's very real. It's very existential. It's the same thing, nothing different. The substance, the beauty of cannabis is like you could also feel the same if you meditate. So it's not a snatching your reality away, it's just simply presented to you. Therefore, it's not really a spiritual, it's very lower layer, lower realm. It's like in this worldly realm. It's global understanding of consciousness, because pretty much everyone was dealing with it globally. All over this globe, we all used certain psychedelics to be able to create this consciousness that we can simply talk and understand. Someone from Canada and someone in the other parts of the world, they can simply understand certain concepts altogether. They have the same cognitive ability. Why is that? Perhaps substances, right? Substances helped us in this world to be able to create some sort of cognitive ability in this state to be able to communicate so perfectly right now. So substances are awesome. What's not awesome is coping mechanism, you know? Coping. I mean, coping mechanism is awesome. Coping is not so great. And how you cope, that's very important. You're gonna quit. Not forever. Know that you wanna come back as smoking weed again. It feels so great. But you gotta give yourself that chance to stay away from it and see, why is this a cope for you, right? Observe it, enjoy it, have fun with it. Reduce down your tolerance, my friend. It doesn't take long, only a few months, only a few months. Sometimes up to 2 weeks, all your message receptors will be back. Give yourself that chance. Yeah, I think I will let you go. I will stay like this for the next perhaps minute to show my love and gratitude. Thank you for being here. Thank you for allowing me to be here. There is this free meditation course. Get into meditation. That's also helpful. Or perhaps smoke your weed and meditate. Do some of this meditation. There is this free meditation course you can access in the description below. Give it a try, maybe. Also, if you would like to come join our community, we have a community now that people are so cool in there, and we help each other to simply have fun in life. So, yeah, that's it really. Thank you. Bye.